Hello and welcome to day and video number 7 in our 10-part, try and get those hands on the screen, 10-part video series, Binge Drinking Unmasked. And today's video is entitled How Stress and Overwhelm Go Hand in Hand with a Binge Drinker. Hello, I'm Luke Michael Howard, clinical hypnotist and change worker and creator of the Rapid Reboot Binge Drinking Program, where I specialize in working with successful professional women aged between 27 and 57 who binge drink and they want to stop within 3 weeks without having to go to expensive rehab, without having to go to depressing AA meetings, without having to take some nasty medication that messes up your whole mind body system, without having to be bored by going to a hypnotist that reads a script like this, without going to a counselor that just nods their head and you have to keep telling the same story for years and years and years before anything gets remotely better, or without having to go to a psychotherapist that's just looking at you and writing notes but not actually giving you any tangible tools and programs that you can use to overcome it. So let's talk about today, overwhelm and stress. Been doing this, as I say, about 25 years, well over 10,000 clients. They were not all binge drinkers. Right? I've worked with lots of people, men and women, for lots of different problems, but a high percentage were for addiction. A lot of those addictions was binge drinking, and I saw more females and continue to see more females than males when it comes to overcoming binge drinking. And patterns, I'm just curious about patterns, right? Everyone's different, you're different, and your reasons for binge drinking are different, and I appreciate that. Not one size fits all. But also I believe in working with so many people over, what's that, a quarter of a century, 25 years, I've noticed patterns. And the patterns that I see in the successful professional woman is overwhelm and stress. And you might be like, well, Luke, everyone's stressed. True, everyone is stressed on some level. But when it came to the successful professional woman, what I noticed is the only way for them to self-soothe, the only way for them to really take a breath, the only way for them to demarcate their day, their work day and their home day or home night, for them, the program that they had learned was drinking. I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed, I've got no other outlet. But when I drink, it soothes me and it makes me forget, or it numbs me to the stress, to work, to the family life, to running a business, to my health, to the bills that are coming in. Right? It numbs me. It gives me a moment. It gives me a time out where I can just forget that chattering voice inside my head, the critical one that's always banging on, that never shuts up. It's the only time where it goes silent or it quiets down quite a little bit because it's been sedated by drinking too much alcohol. All right? Because we know alcohol is a sedative, essentially, and it's a depressant. It causes people to bring down their energy. So that's two of the main things that I've noticed that come up with overwhelm and stress. And here's the thing, if you've got no other way of dealing with overwhelm and stress, and it's wired in your brain, not your mind, not your emotions, but wired into your brain, you're overwhelmed, right? So it triggers off your amygdala, prefrontal cortex of your brain. So you need to either do one of the 4 F's, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? So what the drinking helps to do is you're not running from it, but it helps to freeze you in the moment. And a freeze in response, when we go back to our ancestry and an animal was attacked, sometimes it would feign being dead so the other animal wouldn't need to kill it anymore because it was already dead. So it was a protective mechanism. And I understand you're not an animal, right? Even am I, not the last time I looked. However, these are programs that just go back to evolutionary biology, all right? And although we're essentially, hopefully not in an environment where animals are going to eat us up in today's world, our body is still got that programming for years and years and years. And we've all got our triggers, which we talked about in the last video, and hopefully you took some notes there as well. And our traumas, all right? So if we take away the way that you self-soothe, if that's one of the reasons that you do drink, and it's a pattern I've seen I think it's fair to say with almost every successful professional female that has the imposter syndrome. Also, what I see with a lot of successful professional females is not only the imposter syndrome, but the perfectionist complex. Got to do everything perfect. It's got to be black and white. We talked a little bit about it in another video. But all these just cause the traumas to come up inside the body. And you can get a massage, it's not going to make the trauma go away. You can do downward dog or a child's pose all you want. It's great for you. I encourage everyone to do it. Ain't going to make the trauma go away. You could go to a counsellor once a week for the next 2 years. It's great to have someone listen to you, but it ain't going to make the problem go away. Do you think that if you told the story the 50th time, it should have been gone? Why do you need to tell the story 50 or 100 times of why you do this and having to relive it? Shouldn't it just be gone if it was effective when you tell them and you express it once, right? Same with why AA doesn't work for over 95% of people for stopping drinking. It just doesn't work for people within 3 weeks. I think statistically 90% of the people are continuing to drink, even if they had a little break, and they're drinking more than they did 3 months ago or whenever it was they stopped. Stuff doesn't work. It just doesn't work, unfortunately, because it's not dealing with the trauma. Okay, and how we deal with the trauma isn't the kind of work that I do. Don't worry, it sounds like, oh, trauma's scary, but remember, a trauma can be a big thing, like I was abused, someone passed away that I love, could even be an animal, right? I was fired from work, could be I was bullied at work, I was bullied at school, I haven't got over my partner that cheated on me. Could be all the way when I was a little boy or girl when I was in school, my best friend didn't want to play with me one day. And you might be thinking, what does that have to do with binge drinking? Well, these seeds get planted, right? And although our emotional body, it's very, very smart, its emotional intelligence, it gets upset very, very quickly, and it stores these inside of our body. And we've all got traumas that are installed. Big traumas, end of the world, someone died, I've got really injured, I lost my job, to something that now as an adult, hopefully you're an adult watching this, I don't want any children watching this because you shouldn't be binge drinking, right? But when you're a kid and your best friend won't play with you at playtime or recess, for my North American friends, it's kind of a big fucking deal, right? And you might be like, what, but as an adult, it's not. Yeah, I get that you get that in your brain, but do you get it in your body? I get you know that binge drinking's bad for you in your brain, but does your body get it? Because just giving you more dense information, giving you more statistics, that's great, but you already know all that. And you're continuing to binge drink because it's a somatic mind and body thing, right? This trauma is trapped in your body and we need to release it. We don't need to release it by getting you to chant, by getting you to tell the story over and over again. No, or digging up the dead bodies, I call it, and just saying where they're buried, i.e. reliving the horrible things that may have happened, big or small. It's not the kind of work that I do. Kind of work that I do is working oftentimes content free, and what that means is I don't need to know. I just need to know why you're there. I binge drink, but I don't need to know all of the things that are going on, and neither do you, at least consciously. If you're conscious, your intellectual mind, because if your conscious intellectual mind could have fixed this problem, could have healed it, it would have done it by now, right? You wouldn't be watching these videos, you'd be fine, right? Now, in the work that I do, with many disciplines that I use, it's about really healing that through your unconscious, through your subconscious mind. And your unconscious, your subconscious knows how to do amazing things. It's just never been instructed on how to do this yet. But when it is, it can do rapid. Can I say rapid anymore? Rapid things. Things that even if it's been a problem for you for 20 years, even if you may have seen 20 different therapists, hell, even if you've seen 20 other hypnotists, all right? What I do is different from that. And I'll be getting into that into more videos to kind of tell you how to break down on what I do. In fact, tomorrow's video is entitled, Find Out How You Can Eliminate Binge Drinking Rapidly. But just have a little think today about this. Have a little bit of think about what I've talked about today with the stress and overwhelm, and how that's a couple of the underneath the binge drinking, there's probably stress, there's probably overwhelm, but underneath the stress and overwhelm, there's something else. That when that something else is healed, let go of, all right, the stress and the overwhelm dissipate, and then so does the behavior of binge drinking, right? The binge drinking is just the top level. It's just the stuff that you're aware of. You can heal that up, but as long as the overwhelm, the stress, and the stuff underneath that's there, it will come back. Because I've seen it come back over and over again with people who didn't do the work. And by the way, the work doesn't take years and years and years, all right? Or costly rehab, nothing like that. It can be done rapidly, but deeply and permanently. And we're going to get into that tomorrow, okay? How you can eliminate binge drinking rapidly. So I'll see you tomorrow for video number 8 in our 10 video series on binge drinking unmasked. I've been Luke Michael Howard, clinical hypnotist and change worker and creator of the binge drinking rapid reboot program. And I'll see you on the other side tomorrow. Always believe.